Lee, Charlie and me will take care of any trouble you might have.
I already told Jake I think it's bad business, Jim. If Jake wants to pay, he can do so from his part of the saloon. As for myself in the gaming room, well, I handle my own trouble. I always have, and I always will. Hey, kid, what are you doing down here, boy? It's late. You don't got no business being down here. You get on home now. Go on now, get.
Yep, Luke Short had actually spoken to me. Why, we were practically friends. Wait until the other boys hear about this. But then I heard something that froze me in my tracks. I wasn't going nowhere.
Jake, you tell Luke he's making a big mistake. You tell him he's going to pay. You tell him he's going to pay one way or another.
That threat is coming from long-haired Jim Courtright. A native of Iowa, Jim served in the Union Army under the command of General John Logan. He got the nickname Long-Haired because he grew his hair long to emulate his commanding officer, whom he greatly admired. And Jim moved to Fort Worth in 1866. He was appointed city marshal in 1876. He held that position for 3 years. But Jim wasn't cut out for law enforcement and the politics involved. The city officials wanted him to clean up the town, but not interrupt the profitable gaming parlors. So Jim left Fort Worth and went to New Mexico. He went to work for his former commander, John Logan, who was now a U.S. Senator. Jim's job was to keep the ranch free from rustlers and sodbusters. But after killing a couple of squatters, Jim fled New Mexico and came back to Fort Worth. When New Mexico Rangers came to arrest Jim, folks in Fort Worth assisted in an amazing escape. Using a set of pistols fashioned under a cafe table and a saddled mount waiting outside, Jim escaped custody and rode off to become a local legend. But life on the run wasn't for Jim. He got homesick. In fact, he was quoted once as saying, "I'd rather be dead in a pine box in Fort Worth than alive in any other part of the world." Can I get an amen? So he went back to New Mexico, cleared his name of all charges. Then he came back to Fort Worth and he opened the TIC Detective Agency. He began selling his protection services for a piece of the action in the saloon.
Jake, I said I want to see Luke.
Well, now, he's upstairs. He's real busy right now.
Did you give him my message?
I gave him a message, but now is not a real good time to be talking to Luke.
I will be the judge of that, Jake. You tell him I want to see him now. Now, Jake.
But times have been hard. Jim needed money to support his family, and he wasn't going to let anybody stand in his way, not even Luke Short.
Jim, he's got bad messages with him. Well, Luke, I thought you said you handle your own troubles. Looks like you brought your Dodge City friends here to help you.
Well, Bat's just here for the gambling. Now, Jim, you and I have always gotten along just fine. But you're not going to shut down my games or make me pay for your protection. I don't know why you're pushing this so hard. You better be thinking about who's going to take care of your kids.
Don't you pull a gun on me, Luke.
Well, you know I don't carry a pistol here, Jim.
Yep, it all happened in a heartbeat. It wasn't anything like I imagined. In less than 10 seconds, one man was dead, another faced an uncertain future. There was no hero, no glory. The next day, the largest funeral procession ever held in Fort Worth carried Jim Courtright to his final resting place. Folks in Fort Worth took up a collection so his wife and kids could survive. Luke Short was held overnight in the Tarrant County Jail. His friend, Matt Masterson, sat outside the cell all night with a loaded shotgun. The next day, Luke was found not guilty on the grounds of self-defense. Luke resumed his gaming operations along with the White Elephant Saloon. He was involved in another shootout with a competing saloon owner in 1890. Luke Short pushed life hard. He developed dropsy, what we know today as congestive heart failure. As his health got worse, Luke left Fort Worth and headed for the healing mineral waters of Zeta Springs, Kansas. He died there in 1893 at the age of 39. I know, right? Yeah. Now both of these men are buried right out here in Fort Worth's Oakwood Cemetery. Their tombstones stand silent, overlooking the skyline of Fort Worth. Monuments, if you will, to this city's wild frontier heritage. And you know, folks, I decided right then and there on that night, so many years ago, that being a famous gunman just wasn't in my makeup. In fact, until now, I never told anybody about what I saw. And as for me, instead of becoming a famous gunman, I became a preacher.